What a beautiful world we live in. A few things to address before we get started. If I sound different, it's because I just got over a kind of like a cold, some sort of virus that was spreading around. It was not fun. It was the equivalent of like when you're up in the air and you're feeling the ear pressure that's like really pounding into you before it pops. That was me before the popping. So there's me just trying to like clear out my ears and just being congested, not being able to speak, as you can tell. Second thing is, regarding this topic, I'm gonna have to try to change a few key words because YouTube tends to try to hide topics like this because this is supposed to be a family fun area. So first of all, viewer discretion is advised. Secondly, like I'm using these key terms and changing it because I want more people to be able to watch this and get their opinions on the situation. And this is like for any anime fan or for anyone that's like into different things and was bullied in the past. This is a topic that rings true to them, and I just want the message to be heard. So I came across an article that was very disheartening, and I shared it on my page, and I'm like, you know, I want to talk about this, but also on some other things related to this topic, and that was a Russian official claims link between anime and child harm. That's what we're going to call it today, so child harm. Because last time when we tried to talk about the other word, it just felt like YouTube was suppressing videos that mention that word. So we're going to call it self-harm, child harm. And hopefully YouTube won't block this video because I want more of you to listen in on this. But yeah, basically this expert in Russia, which is not a very friendly place for anyone who's different against their mainstream spectrum, they are blaming anime for what's causing their children to be hurting themselves. As stated in the article, an expert at Russia's state-sponsored Center for Protecting Children Against Online Threats appeared on RIA Novosti, the country's state-run news agency, claiming a link between anime and teenage self-harm. Yelena Ivanova appeared on the news program citing that Japan makes a lot of quality cartoons, but that overexposure is dangerous for teens, especially if the show's characters are also teenagers who are different, like they like characters of the same gender, but also characters who smoke and drink and even hurt themselves. Ivanova did not mention any specific anime series in her examples. Of course she didn't. Of course. The news article classifies anime fandom as an anime cult. Really? I tend to think when I look at sports fans, they're more of a cult because of, you know, painting their faces and chanting and trying to beat up the other team because they lost. That seems more like a patriotic cult if I've ever seen one. We just dress up as our favorite characters and talk about it. And the only time we ever get upset at each other is if we, you know, try to diss the other person's shipping, or if like they like a character that we don't like, or if they like a series that the other person doesn't like. But overall, like, the anime community tends to be, it's not always perfect, it tends to be an open and welcome family. But yeah, anime cult, and one of the main ways to manipulate children into these kinds of harmful ideas, rebellion against their parents, and same-gendered attractions. It goes on to say that children exposed to the content isolate themselves, run away from home, and may engage in self-harm. The RIA Novosti News Agency's program recounts stories of children and teenagers harming themselves, influenced by anime, but were saved after treatment by the Center for Protecting Children Against Online Threats. This is so painful to read. One of the stories recounts the experience of 5th grader Anastazia, name changed, whose art slowly degraded into violent imagery after she began drawing in anime style. Really? She allegedly watched an anime starring a character with a superpower who wants to die but can't. The article also mentions Nastia became obsessed with the male character and began discussing the story character online with other fans. Okay, if you're seeing signs of obsession, that's when the parents are supposed to step in and, you know, try to talk to them, try to say, okay, Your actions are getting a little addictive. Why don't we just step away for a bit and just help with that? Because I'm not going to say that these tens of things don't happen, but there are ways that you can assess the situation just by stepping in and interacting with them, and also try to get them into other things. Like, I had my fandoms, but I wasn't solely obsessed with these characters and the stories because I had other things on my mind. I had school, I had work, I had family, I had friends. Maybe it's because this person was clinging to this character and being totally obsessed with it because they didn't have friends or a family they thought that they could rely on. Strangely, the Center for Protecting Children Against Online Threats points its finger at the US and China for producing the harmful content, despite that anime is usually defined as animation produced in Japan. I could see that because like China and America have like outlets where like there's a market for this, and when there's a market, there's going to be business people trying to cut in on the deal. Especially China, where they make bootlegs and, you know, renditions of these products that are way cheaper in quality, but people grab them because, you know, it's affordable. So I can definitely see why they would blame Japan and America because of the outlets and the hype and just how the geek fandom is getting everywhere, and so children are influenced. But then like I am reminded of their situation and how they treat people who are different. So those that, you know, have different attractions other than what is approved by their spectrum, they face legal and social challenges not experienced by, you know, what they deemed as normal. Although same-gendered attractions between consenting adults in private was decriminalized in 1993, but those who are attracted to the same gender are viewed with contempt by Russians, and those who are in a relationship with, you know, the same gender, or there's a household that is headed by someone that is in a same-gendered relationship, they are ineligible for the legal protections available to couples that are attracted by the different genders. So when you get right down to it, when a kid in Russia has no friends, is constantly bullied, can't really talk to their parents, and lives in a society where their tendencies, their behaviors are frowned upon, of course they're going to turn to such drastic measures trying to say, you know, this is who I am, and if I am born into a society stuck in this world where I'm not going to be listened to, I'm going to be treated like I'm a freak, then I'm going to look into alternative measures, and that's where it gets dangerous real fast. Anime is a window that shows the many possibilities our realm is capable of, not just with technology, but also with behavior and relationships. It's supposed to showcase how normal it's supposed to be. Just when you look at Yuri on Ice and just see how open the characters were to these couples getting together, it makes you sad a little bit on the inside because it's like, this is still a fantasy. That some couples will get together and either be treated as equals or they'll still be looked at like they're not normal. That it's still a big deal for couples to come out of the closet and confess to their parents that I am attracted to the same gender. To which like the underlying behavior, it strives from religion, where like these people are raised to believe in a certain way, and if you stray from the path, then you're pretty much a traitor. You're pretty much an outcast, and you need to be fixed, or that's it, we're done with you. Or it comes from the reputation. So whether you have a religious faith or not, when you are looked down upon by your comrades, by your opponents, it can be damaging to, you know, yourself. But you can't think of yourself when you brought a human being into the world, and you gotta take care of that human being and make sure they have a healthy mind and a healthy body. And when you treat them like they're just a burden, that like you need to go with the status quo or else it's gonna look bad on me and your mother, and all of our neighbors are gonna look down on us. And that's still an impression that a lot of families do nowadays, and it's so heartbreaking that like, my life, I brought you into this world, I know what the world is like, it's more, my reputation is on the line and is more valuable than your life. I need to mold you into what I approve of, because this is what society want. Not the fact that like they would make fun of us and outcast us for doing this, but more like this is what normal is. And it's just so heartbreaking to hear these kinds of stories. But the thing that like carried me through during that time when I was in middle school being tormented were my friends and my parents and my sister. Even though sometimes my sister made fun of me sometimes, she would still, you know, interact with me sometimes, and we'd have our good moments. And those were the moments that carried me through. It was the good moments. It was the moments with my friends, going to the anime club, going to the library, and we just talk about our favorite show, what came on Toonami that day, any manga that we recommend, making fun of the fact the librarians would censor out the titties from Inuyasha, which that happened. I remember the times we would take the bus to the mall and go to Walden Books, Barnes & Noble, and buy some manga. Actually organizing a field trip where the entire anime club being supervised by a teacher, and we had to have permission slips to go to MegaCon. So even though I went through some horrific moments of bullying and just hatred, I still had awesome parents to come home to and amazing friends to talk to on the phone. But not everybody has that. And I just want to reach out to you and say, we're here. You're not alone in this community. There is so much love in the community that I just want you to hang on. Hang on, move forward, and when you get that chance to get out of your situation, get out. Come into these open arms from the community. You have a family. You can make friends who have the same interests as you, who would love to have you in your life and make you feel like your family. Even when I went to NexusCon, it just blew my mind because I thought we were like moving up in this spectrum of acceptance where I would see parents interacting with their children and the children were dressing up. It was an anime community convention where there was some pop culture things in there too. There was Marvel, there was Disney, but it had everything there, and it had parents dressing up with their children. It had a costume parade for the children. It was a family thing to tell the family that like, hey, you know, welcome the media, you are invited. These are things that your kids are interested in. You're welcome to join us. This is not something for you to be scared of. This is not something for you to be isolated from. As long as you're a part of this, you will know exactly what your kids are doing. And it was just an awesome experience. But I'm still hearing stories from the anime community, from the pop culture community, of just how their parents don't really care. There's some that are saying that like, they only care about themselves and what they're interested in, and they're going through a rough divorce and treating their child like they're a burden. That's the bottom line here. This is why kids are turning to desperate measures. It's not because they're influenced by what they're seeing in the anime that they're watching. It's because they're discovering something new. They're discovering something outside of the box that you're keeping them in. And when they try to express themselves, you are shaming them. You're not giving them the attention that they deserve. Talk to them. Are they being bullied in school? Do they have friends? Get them involved in a hobby of some sort, in some sort of activity, an after-school thing. Like, yeah, I loved anime, but I was also in band, and God help me, I was in ballet. And tap dancing, but don't ask. It did not last. But I was in band, I played the trumpet, I still love drawing, and I was still part of the anime community. And I love Disney as well. I would train my dad at Disney competitions. I was involved in a lot of things. So when you get your kid to expand themselves and open their mind to different ideas and actually interact with the child, then there shouldn't be that many problems. I'm not saying that, life's gonna be perfect from that point onwards, because life, it happens, but you're not gonna have a child that is constantly questioning why you brought them into this world. Think about that. I just had two parents that were like, do what you want in life, as long as you're happy, as long as you can support yourself. And they took an interest in what I wanted to do, and even my grandfather, when he found out I was trying to get into graphic arts, I remember him saying, well, when you get into graphic arts, make sure the text is big, because that's all people need to read. I miss you, Grandpa. I'm sorry if I'm ranting, it's just... I know I had a different experience compared to a lot of you. I had friends and family that stood by me even at the worst of times, and even when I had people bullying me and questioning me for what I liked and didn't like, I could still go forward each day and know that I'll be okay. There are some of you out there who feel that, you know, it's not gonna be okay. And I can't quote Avenue Q enough. Nothing lasts, life goes on, it's full of surprises. And you're gonna face problems of all shapes and sizes. You're gonna learn how to compromise for now. Life is just for now. Just know that there's a big world out there. There is a community who will be out there to hold you and tell you that you're gonna be just fine. You have a family out there. So I want you to hang on. Comment down below your favorite anime and let's just talk. So from all of us here at Anime America, just know that life sucks sometimes, but we're here for you. We love you. And anime is awesome. We're all here because of anime. I made this channel to talk about anime. Anime has done so much for us, inspired us to do things and create things and to craft things, to make our own stories. And with the inspirational quotes video I made a month ago, it inspires us to do better. So to that one expert in Russia, you're full of crap. Don't look at the source, just like with how media likes to blame video games for everything. Don't look at the media. Don't look at the things outside of how your community is treating these children, okay? Whoever is different in this tight community of yours is being treated like an outcast, and that's what's leading to self-harm. It's the fact that they're not being accepted, they're not being monitored, they're not feeling welcomed into this life that they were born into. So take a look at your community, take a look at how these children are being treated. That's all I can really say. There are some like questionable anime out there, but it's not going to turn your children into a rebellion that hates everything, okay? Just talk to your kids. It helps. So I don't know what you guys think of this topic. Do you really think that anime does have a tie to self-harm? I really don't believe it does, but I want to hear what you guys think of this topic and share your experiences of what the anime community has done good by you, what's done bad by you, what you think of this topic overall. So leave a comment down below. If you think this video can reach out to someone in need, please share it on any social media platform where you thrive. This has been Robyn from Anime America. I love you guys. Just hang in there, okay? We love you.